Well, hello and welcome to the first episode of the Finding Truth podcast. It is super exciting to be here. I'm Lockie. I'm the youth pastor at Burleigh Church of Christ. And here with me today is Brad, who's going to be our co-host for this podcast. Brad, why don't you introduce yourself?
I feel like you already did, but I'm Brad. I'm from Whitehill Church.
You.
You.
I feel like Whitehill always does that.
And I feel like we're off
Whitehill.
to a good start already because Lockie finally got the name of this podcast right.
It
so
did take me a few goes.
it took him
but-
about a dozen goes, but we made it.
We're there. And
off and running.
We've just come home from camp. We're tired. And, but what I'm stoked about is that camp hasn't ended at camp this year. And so instead, we finally have this podcast and this app and this way for us to continue to do Fuse and continue to stay connected and to do all that fun stuff outside in the other 51 weeks of the year rather than just at camp. And so this is episode 1, and basically all we really want to talk about today is, I guess, a little bit of what this podcast is, why we're doing it, and how, I don't know, how it's going to help you guys, I guess. And so, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I think a common experience for all of us, especially if you have been on camps before, is that like post-camps blues. Like you're with your mates all week, you're doing these like ridiculously fun activities, games, and like all this worship and preaching, and you just get so, I think, in tune with others and with God, and then you come home and it's like
mountaintop experience.
I got to get back to school soon. You know, I've got all these responsibilities. I got to clean the dishes. I got to make my bed. I can't just muck around with the boys until, midnight and annoy the leaders by not going to sleep. And yeah, you just sort of fall out of rhythm, and you sometimes just lose everything that you, I guess, learnt and grew in whilst on camp. So hopefully for you guys, this podcast now is an opportunity to continue some of those, thoughts and reflections and practices in your life that came up in camp for you last week.
That's exactly right. And so if you've come to Fuse Camp for a few years now, you'll know that one of the things that we really love to do, or one of the reasons we do Fuse, is because we want to encourage and empower you guys to own your faith. We want to create and find ways for you to take ownership of your faith rather than it just being something that, fits into 30 minutes at the end of a really fun youth night when you sort of have some sort of a chat with your leader. But instead something that is living and an actual, real and tangible part of your life. And so it's really hard to do that in 1 week a year. And so what we're hoping is that with this podcast, we can find ways to allow you to continue to, investigate and go on a journey with your faith. And so we want this to be fun and something that you can show your friends, and something that is hopefully helpful in your faith journey. And so we're super excited, and yeah, it'll be good. We do have one other person to introduce today.
Do we have to?
Uh,
Can we wait until week 4 or 5 even?
It would be tempting, but they have heard. I'm sure that by now they've heard him laughing in the background.
Rumors gotten out.
Rumors have gotten out.
I'm sure on the front line of their news this morning.
I'm sure he's been spreading rumors viciously across the bus at camp. And that is that none other, there is a third person in the room with us today. The man who pushes the buttons.
He's really is. I could be doing his job by just reaching over. Like I can reach the buttons for those of you who are watching here.
He's giving himself applause. He's out of
Stop it.
control.
So I don't know why we brought him along, but he's here.
He's here.
Nonetheless. So
None other. It is the Van Master General, Jacob. And we've even given him a microphone this episode. I don't know if we'll do that
Who
in the
would do
future.
that? What a goofy goober. That is me. I am here. You're all welcome for this.
we're gonna regret this, Lockie.
You can tell he's.
Who would invite me to these things?
I don't know. But I have heard you're good at pushing buttons, and that's why you're here.
And beggars can't be choosers when it comes to sound, guys.
I was going to say there were limited options, but that's okay.
You know I
We're
like to
here
push
now.
your buttons.
Yeah,
you
are
do
very
so well.
You are very testing.
Lockie, do you mind if I tell some plain facts? Because we all know that they loved them at camp, and they should definitely be included here.
I think we can.
You think? I don't like you
Well-
think. I think you should know.
The idea is that we're not going to be on here for 20, 30 minutes because we want this to be achievable for you guys to actually listen to, on your way to school or whatever it is. So I would say yes, as long as you don't blow the time limit and just drag on and just bore
Yeah.
everyone.
You can share an aeroplane fact each week as long as it is a quick aeroplane fact.
Look, in the words of a man that I work with, you get what you get and you don't get upset.
I disagree.
I disagree
Also,
because we can just say no.
also, to add to that, I think you should format one of these buttons as a sound which, cuts you off. And once we press that, you can't talk anymore.
Yeah, a button that just is programmed to
Yeah.
just mute his line.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, we might
You
need one of
guys are
those.
just
An eject button
There you
from
go.
the studio.
Ejectocito, cuz.
All right. Well, we might. Have you got one up your sleeve? A fact? Have you got one up your sleeve for the end of this episode?
I sure do.
All right. Well,
Very
we will
good.
finish with an aeroplane fact with Jacob today, but I feel like there's one other thing that is critical to having a podcast.
It is. And to share my own airplane fact, this man puts jet fuel in his car.
What?
Yep.
Who?
This man you're about to call.
He puts jet fuel in his car.
His car.
I didn't even know you could do that.
I know, neither did I until he told me.
I don't even know where you'd get jet fuel from.
From the
From a jet?
airport, come on.
From a jet.
Yes.
I have so
From the
many.
airport.
I have so many questions.
Should we give him a ring?
Well, I feel like we need so we need an intro song.
We do. We need a jingle or a song or something.
You can't have a podcast without a jingle song. And so we're going to ring Jared. Jared's been worship leading with us at camp all week. And so we're going to give him a call and see if he can hook us up with a jingle.
G'day. How's it going?
Jared, how are you?
Very good, thanks, mate. Very good.
That's the way. We are here on the Finding Truth podcast. And you are
Wow,
live.
wait.
You're
our
live.
you're our lucky winner.
Hi, Jared.
Wow.
You're our
what have I won?
You're our first guest.
Wow. This is very exciting.
This is big. This is big. And so
Well, wasn't Jacob our first guest? Oh, I guess he's here every week.
he's here every week.
I'm here every week, but I'm still a guest.
All right, Jared, you're our second guest.
You're our second guest.
Welcome to the
No,
podcast.
it's getting worse and worse.
Hey, we've been talking and we've established that probably one of the most, you can't have a podcast without it. And one of the most critical things we need is an intro song.
Absolutely.
We don't have an intro song.
You don't have one.
We don't have
What are you
one.
doing?
Well,
What are you talking about? Is this even a podcast?
This is why the intro took so long because we couldn't get warmed up with the
Yeah,
song.
There was no song to
Oh,
hype us up.
no.
And so,
Oh, dear. No,
We-
yeah, you did sound a little bit, a bit cold.
yeah,
A little bit.
we didn't come in
struggling.
with full energy capacity.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
this is why we're calling you.
Mm.
You
see.
obviously, you've just led worship at camp, so you can play. You know music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll let the kids be the judge of that, Lucky.
I mean, I was impressed. We'll see what the feedback cards say. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're more musical than anyone in this room. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I'll take that.
So what can you do for us? I reckon if we are going to use him to write the jingle for this podcast, we need to make sure he's actually quality and can write a jingle, right?
We're gonna test him.
We need to test him.
Oh,
So
What?
let's put him on the spot.
Right
Jared,
now.
Yeah, I think you need to write a jingle for Van Master General's plain facts,
Oh, my
right?
goodness.
So then when he
Yeah.
does come up with one,
For-
if the fact is really bad, at least the jingle's good.
a fact with Jacob. That is a great jingle.
And we're going to count you in,
Wow.
and you're just going to have to start singing your jingle. And
Oh
if
my
it doesn't
goodness.
land, then you're fired.
How long's he got?
Oh, my goodness.
You've had enough time to think.
Already. Wow.
3, 2, 1.
He's the master of the van. He'll take you where he can. His bus has the wheels, and he is the man. Everyone get in Jacob's van. Oh my goodness.
It's pretty
That
good.
was actually pretty good.
good.
We're on the spot.
Oh
That's
dear.
awesome.
I would
I'm
I would
sweating.
say not
That's the most
everybody
pressure I've
should
ever
get in
been under.
Jacob's van, but those who need
Absolutely
to-
everybody wants to be in my van.
Well,
Well,
I'll
that's
be
pretty
in the
good
van.
work. You've
love
made.
it.
Stranger danger.
Have I got the?
I would give
Is that
him a
an
tick.
approval?
Yep.
Yeah, you've got the gig. That was
Wow.
brilliant. So, Jared, yeah,
What a-
we need a jingle for the podcast, and if you
Yeah,
could write one
yeah.
for us, that would be phenomenal.
Cool. I can give it a go. I can see what I can do.
Legendary.
All right. We look forward to hearing it.
Brilliant.
Legend.
Thanks,
Wait
Jared.
for it.
We'll let you go.
Awesome.
Very.
Thanks, boys. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Bye. There you go.
Awesome. One more thing sorted out. So,
Jingle sorted.
pretty
That's-
much all we need to do from here is tell you that the app, the Fuse app,
Yes.
is probably the best thing that's ever happened in your life. It's close to in terms of my life, I think.
It's up
So you
there.
need to be
It's
on
definitely
it.
up there.
You need to be on it. You need to be on the Fuse socials, the Fuse app, and just keep up to date with all the stuff that comes out. We're going to be, like Lockie said, pulling out devotions. We're going to be posting some podcasts and some awesome things on there.
Weekly podcast.
Weekly
This is coming
podcast.
out weekly. 10
That's
minutes a week, as we said, short and sweet.
So we'd love you to be, a part of that. And drop a comment on the socials as well, or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you and hear how you guys are going post camp. But otherwise, sit tight, hang out for next week's first episode. Looking
That's
at, can we say it?
Yeah,
can
we
say
can,
it?
we can say it. Next week, we're going to look at our first practice.
Which is a rule of life.
Very exciting.
Rule of life. So we're super stoked. We've both been impacted a lot from this practice, and we're super passionate about it and keen to share with you guys. So hope you can join us then.
Awesome. See you next week.
But don't forget about my plane fact, guys. All right. Well, did you guys know in the 60s that Lockheed built the SR-71 Blackbird, went 3 Mach, 3 times the speed of sound. And in order to build this plane, which was made out of mainly titanium steel, the CIA had to set up a bunch of cover-up companies in order to buy this titanium steel from the Soviet Union.
That is
What?
actually interesting. So the CIA built the plane, not Qantas or Emirates or
No.
Emirates.
Lockheed
Qantas.
built the plane.
Imagine Qantas going 3 times the speed of sound.
you'd certainly get
All
places
those-
quicker.
Lockheed built the plane.
yeah. And so-
under direction from the US government. It went 3 times the speed of sound, but in order to go that fast, with that much friction in the air, the plane got really hot, so they needed to build it out of
Plane got
titanium.
hot air. Like you wouldn't think of air as something that
It creates
would
friction.
cause enough friction to get
I'm
hot.
usually pretty cold on an airplane.
So
Yeah.
they needed the titanium to withstand the heat from the friction. So they had to, and America didn't have enough titanium, so they had to buy it from the Soviet Union.
Wow.
And in
there
order
you
for them
go.
to do that, they had to set up a bunch of cover-up companies.
It's a good fact.
What a cover up.
It's a good fact, and
Well-
hopefully they get even better.
Yeah, that's it. All right. See you next week. We are done. Goodbye.